Dude, we're live.
Are we live right now?
We are so live. We're
all the way live. Live on stage. Da, 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 da.
Ladies and gentlemen, pre-recorded live from the heart of Connecticut in association with California.
California.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you got to California after you moved
Yes.
out of Pennsylvania?
Me?
When you were Amish.
Oh.
Those days.
See, you're digging. That's a deep cut. I don't talk about that all that much. My Amish roots. I don't know. It's a bit personal. It's a deep cut. But if you wanna get into it, I'm
all right.
I'm willing to open up.
How was it working on the factory making those heaters?
It was, it was all right. I was young. I was only like 3, and I don't have like the most distinct memories of that time. But it was hard work. It was hot work. Where our faith doesn't allow us to have air conditioning or to use the heaters. As a matter of fact, so
you have no
a lot
clue
of the times
if it works.
What was that?
Well, you have no clue if they work because you don't allow electricity either.
That's a hard part too, because we have no kind of quality control. We just make them, send them out. We got a lot of returns. I'll tell you that.
I bet you did.
And the part of it too was we know not about the electronics of the English world, so we were just sticking cords in there, hoping
something would work,
hoping for the best.
So you moved from Pennsylvania to California.
We did.
And
it took forever. I just want to say that because we had one of those wagons and it was pretty harsh, man. It was like that game Oregon Trail, but like in real life. It was something.
How was it? What was the fastest that thing would go?
Not very fast. You would think that with a horse that you're going to be going like 10, 15, 20 miles an hour, but it's more like 5. It's just kind of at a trotting pace. And I myself felt bad for the cars that were behind us. It was quite a log jam at points. But we pay taxes on the road. We have the same rights as anyone.
You do. You have exactly the same rights.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're in California and you're settled, and I'm sure that you've updated a little bit, do you still use hand signals when you're driving? Occasionally, but the old Amish ways come back.
We develop. Well, this might qualify as like a hand signal. We have signs, like little signs, like when people are doing like semaphore, like flags. We wave flags out the window to signal. If we're going to be turning left, we'll put it this way, like maybe up if we're going to be going up. It's an elaborate system, but it's been working for us for generations.
What do you think of the song Amish Paradise by Weird Al Yankovic? Is it pretty accurate?
I've never heard it.
Really? We
don't listen to the English radio. We have Amish radio stations that we listen to, and that's never been a hit. As a matter of fact, the Amish radio is just sort of kind of like a box. It's like a wooden box that sometimes someone will dip behind and sing through, but we're just happy to have that.
And now it's time for Pretentious Podcast with Bryan and Zerbinator.
If I'm this far away, can you hear me all right?
I hear you better this time, I think, because you are closer.
Like right now?
Are you sitting? Yeah. Were you sitting back?
I was sitting back. Okay.
Can you pull the mic? Do you have a scissors arm?
No, it's just sitting on the desk. Should I get one?
Yeah.
I should, huh? If I were to have one, it would have to be made of twigs. Twigs tied together with twine.
Because of the Amishness.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? You were mentioning earlier something about having webbed feet in your family.
Well, this is something I don't like to talk about a lot because it's a bit of a personal medical issue, but I'll tell you anyway because it's super gross. My wife, the old wife, actually has 2 8-degree webbed feet. If you take your palm and you hold it, upright, so you're looking down on it, she has sort of, web-like tissue up to maybe the second ridge on your pinky, which is fairly far. She's like Kevin Costner in Waterworld. Every once in a while I expect to see gills, but I don't dig that deep.
Goody Robots is a good fisherwoman.
She's a good swimmer.
Yeah.
Neither of us really enjoy the taste of seafood that much. Like maybe like a nice, like a white fish, like a fish and chips. But
nice. All right, well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Pretentious Podcast number 11.
Number 11.
Including me and the Z with the B and the roboticist.
I see robots from the greatest podcast in the world, the Twizzlers Report.
Two of the best podcasters together to make one giant, colossal cast.
Probably number 1 and number 4. I think. I'm 1. And then you got Doug McCoy, number 2. And then you got I don't know, Gino Vega, number 3. You're number 4, Ferg. Then Ferg. And,
what would I be? What number?
I think you were 4.
Oh.
You know, we decided you were 4.
Oh, Ferg and I together is 4. So Ferg by himself is 5.
Ferg was 3rd, and you were 4.
Oh.
When you're working together, it's all right. No, it's good. It's fine.
I'm sorry?
Look, it's pretty good. Ferg's really carrying that show, I think.
So, opening gab, how you doing, my brother? It's good to see you.
I'm doing all right. I've had a bit of a cold, so you might hear me sniffling. You might hear me snoofling through the show, but I think we're good to go.
I've been doing the same thing. I've been sniffing, coughing, sneezing, hiccuping.
Do you
burping,
hiccup a lot?
Farting. Yeah, pull my finger and I start hiccuping for some reason.
Hiccups are the worst. I had hiccups 2 days ago, and I can't remember the last time before.
Yeah.
That I had hiccups, and it's the worst. I don't know how.
I don't know how to stop when I start.
What I try to do is I try to. You sort of have to suppress the hiccup as long as you can, and I find if you can suppress it long enough, it just kind of goes away on its own. You kind of have to just sort of control your breath and control your breathing so that it stays down. You really have to focus.
Doesn't work. Doesn't work for me.
Just push it down. You just push it down.
Well, I have repressed memories from my childhood, but that's a whole different story. But trying to push down a hiccup just won't happen. And I end up holding my breath, and all of a sudden I'll hiccup and almost pass out because of the fact that I've held my breath for so long, and then all of a sudden air came in and I get all lightheaded and pass out. And then I find out that I've been hiccuping the whole entire time I've been passed out. And then I'll wake up and I'll be out of breath because I've been hiccuping, and I go to get something to drink and then spills all over the place because I hiccup again. And you know what it takes for me to stop hiccuping is someone has to scare the living crap out of me.
Does that work for you?
It absolutely does. It really does. Someone has to really scare me. I have to look at somebody who's unpleasant.
And just lose it.
Or maybe make myself believe I'm going to throw myself off of the balcony. That
would
helps.
that do it? You think that would end it
sometimes
for you?
I think maybe I'm going to do it this time, and that's when the hiccup stops. That's when I try not to throw myself.
Sometimes it's hard not to.
I'll even hang off the balcony.
You're just up there, you're just looking off, and you're just it'd just be so easy.
Mm-hmm.
So easy to just end it all today and not have any of these worries. But, you got to soldier on.
You do have to soldier on. I've walked out into the middle of the lake with bubbles coming up, and then at the very last second swam up to the top.
How deep is good old Lake Bazak at its deepest point, you think?
Bazak is 30 feet.
Is it really?
Yes, 30 feet deep at its deepest point here. There was pray tell rumor of a underwater area where you can swim in this cavern all the way across to Black Lake, which is across on the other side of the mountain. So there's this underwater cavern where you can swim through it.
Have you tried?
No, I don't think it exists. I think somebody made it up.
Why would you do that, though? Why would you make something like that up? You should...
Folklore?
You should check it out. Who knows what kind of interesting life could be down there? That could be where Nessie's at. You could see, I don't know, those fish with no eyes. Those fish with those stalks. That you see with the eyeball at the end. You could see crabs. What are those crabs called that haven't evolved in so many years? You know what I'm talking about?
The ones that I got in the 80s?
Those with the pointy tails, those stabby tails. It doesn't matter.
But I would call those bumpy fish the ones that make you itch.
Do you ever think that when you're doing that, when you're going, what are those things called? Those stabby crabs that don't evolve? That there's somebody out there listening who's just yelling out the name of that stupid crab,
Alaskan King, damn it!
That you could hear them off in the distance and also
crab!
In the past.
Yeah, exactly. Go an ape crab just because they know it and we don't. Well, write in and tell us, because we do have an email at instrumentally@gmail.com or icrobots at
icrobots.com.
icrobots. You have your own email on your website?
I do. I got everything. I got email, I got hosting, I got Twitters, I got everything. Everything.
Are you paying for your site?
No, I don't. It's a Google site with a address that points it that way, but with the address, you get the emails.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's all right. I can if you want one, you could have one. I could give you Zerb at icrobots.com, and then you could feel like you're somebody.
And I love you for the offer, but then I'd have to change all my business cards.
You have to take it, I think, because once people hear this, once it hits the IC Robots feed, people are going to start flooding you with, requests for autograph signings, requests for just you name it. So I probably do have to set it up.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's the power.
It's the power of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been like you. I've been sick.
What kind of sick? Mentally sick? Just a little down?
Homesick a little bit. And I'm already
Sweet Home, Virginia, I guess. Is that where you're from? You're from Washington, D.C.?
Washington, D.C. area, within 5 minutes of Washington, D.C. The house that I grew up in, from the upper window, you could see D.C.
Gross.
That's how far away we were from it. But what you would see in D.C., we could see the monument, and then if you looked, hard enough in the smoke and mist of the 70s, you could possibly see the Capitol way behind it. But,
really?
But you'd have to use binoculars to see it. But
or that telescope right behind you.
Yeah, I wish I had it back then. But
you could look right into the White House window. You can see what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah, I see the sniper's sight right on my face. And I miss that view. I don't miss living in that area. There's talk about pretentious. There are people I do not miss. The neighborhood was so snotty. And everybody's just so pompous, and they're so much better than us.
How about Connecticut people? How do they rate on the pomposity meter?
Everybody in Connecticut, and I'm talking everybody, you go to the richest person in Connecticut, and Connecticutans nutmeggers will disagree with me on this. But I, personally, living here 4 years, have never seen a change in what I'm about to say.
Okay.
You go to the richest Connecticut person, and you sit down with him at a bus stop and talk to a bum.
He's so rich. Why is he taking the bus?
Exactly. A bum right next to you on the other side. You bring him with you. Force him to come with you. And you sit down and talk with a bum, and I guarantee you'll get an hour's conversation, and everybody will agree at the end of whatever that topic was.
I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but when you're describing Connecticut in that manner, it makes me think that the richest person there must not be that rich because he's sitting on a bus bench next to a bum, and he has an hour to sit there and talk with this guy, doesn't he?
No, they love talking up here, and everybody will talk to each other just like they've known you their whole lives. Yeah? What's that?
It's the perfect place for you. You love jibber jabbing. So
I am a jibber jab. As Ferg
you
would
strike me as the kind of guy who jibber jabs with people in public.
Very true. I'm very gregarious, as Ferg calls me.
I am the opposite. I don't have anything against anybody, but at the same time,
Stay away.
I don't feel some people really feel the need for that contact with, people when they're out and about. They just, they need to feel the human condition. I'm not going to say I don't give a flip about other people, but at the same time, I don't.
Shock jock.
I don't have a lot of time for chit chat. What's the word for small talk? I'm not a small talk kind of guy.
I don't small talk. I get deep into the issues.
Some people have the need for that, that human contact. They like the small talk, and that's great. If you need that, and that's awesome for you. But I don't need it. And when people are trying to get that from me, it drains. It drains me. It drains me to have to be that's.
Do you get
it is warm out today.
Jack Nicholson doing As Good as It Gets, and he just goes, I can't do this anymore, and just put your hand up and say, this is so exhausting. Why am I talking to you? Do you do that?
I'm very polite about it. I'm willing to, if that's what somebody needs, I'm willing to help them out to a degree. I don't
shun them. You're not a shunner.
I don't shun them, but I do my best to keep the conversation to a minimum. I don't, when you're conversating back and forth, somebody has to advance it. And when it comes to my turn to advance it, I just kind of
piddle out.
I piddle out. Yeah. That's just me. I don't think I don't think it's anything wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't. You know what else I find?
What's that?
Another thing that I find is that, like, doing this and doing the stupid Toys R Us report, that I get a lot of, like, the need for idle chit-chat out. I'll just be like, I was just in a room by myself chit-chatting for an hour and a half. I don't have a lot of time to, like, chit-chat with you. I don't... No more talking is necessary. So I just spent an hour talking to myself, all right? I don't need to talk to you.
Should I change the Pretentious Podcast name to Idle Chit Chat?
You could.
The Idle Chit Chat Show.
I bought the Pretentious Podcast domain name last week, and I don't.
You did?
I did not. I should.
Oh, you scared me because I have no money to buy it back from you.
I really should, and I think that at this point... I don't know. At this point, I have every right to do it. I'm gonna get it right now.
Well, you do live in California. I know you have money.
Tons. No, I don't have any. How do you spell pretentious?
Well, it's right up there at the top of the sheet. Not to be rude.
Can you hear me typing?
I can hear you typing. Are you using the proper letters?
What does it say? Oh, it's not available.
Huh?
I wonder who owns it.
I bet you somebody who you're talking to might.
I've always been... I've been of the thought lately that .orgs might be like a thing. Like pretentiouspodcast.org.
And there's also... I mean, there's tons. .me, .be, .tv, blah, blah,
I only go for the big ones. I want like .coms. I want .orgs. Maybe like a net. But these new ones, they don't have the... They don't have the gravitas of the .com. Do you own any .coms?
Who's a net? No, I don't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would always do WordPress. I don't believe in spending money on this. If I did, then I would want it back.
I have icyrobots.com. I have the greatest podcast in the world.com. I have.
Do you?
Yeah. That's and then weird. I have virtualdirtmall.com.
Wow.
That's my eBay stuff is there. And then I have offbeatshenanigans.com. I own that one too, but I don't.
Huh. I was thinking about purchasing .com, a show about predictability and redundancy. Yeah.
You have a lot of music floating around that you don't use for stuff?
Actually, it's funny you ask. Yes. I have right now, and I'm going to brag a little bit because that's what I do. Let me open
Send
up.
Me everything you have.
Oh, gosh, you don't have room on your computer.
I do.
You'll need so many terabytes of space.
I got like 1,000.
Terabytes?
Yeah.
That would be a trigabyte, I think, right?
I have it. That's what I got. It's like on a flash drive. It's pretty big, though.
I have written, it's right now, it's adding up. I have written over 5,000 songs. I have 59 gigabytes of music of my own.
How many songs? Did you say 5,000?
There's 5,000 in the computer. There's 2 boxes of cassette tapes from the days I could not put it in the computer, so those have to be gone through. There's boxes of unmarked cassette tapes. The ones upstairs are marked. There's boxes of just blank looking tapes, but they're all filled to the gill of music from that.
You don't label your tapes?
Back then, I stopped labeling because I was writing faster than I can keep track. I would do probably anywhere from 3 to 5 songs a day because I wasn't working. And that was pre-finding out if I had the MS or not. So it's like I couldn't walk or hardly talk, but I sure as hell
How old were you when you found out?
About the MS? 2004, 2005-ish.
13 years ago?
Yeah. So that was when I was diagnosed, but symptoms go back as far as 1981.
That's too bad.
Yeah. But music was never a problem, so I've always written music, and I'm very proud of that.
Good for you. I don't know how to write music. I like to foodle around with drum loops and shit like that, but I don't know how to like. Oh, we're recording?
Yeah.
I'll take that all over again.
Okay, go for it.
I like to foodle around with like drum loops and stuff, and I like to like take pieces out of like existing songs, but I don't have any like ability to like write original music. I can't read music.
Didn't you? I can't read either. I don't bother. It's all by ear. But don't you've written music for your show and whatnot.
I Google around and foodle around. Like just, I take loops. I am like a 90s, 80s style, like sampling sort of producer.
That to me is, can be creative enough to call yourself a musician because you are learning, you know how to put all that together in a musical fashion.
I wouldn't say that. I think I'm just sort of, I'm just messing about. But I appreciate that.
I agree that you are a good musician. I've heard some of your stuff, even messing around. You sent me stuff that involved melodic creation.
I like to mess around, but it's all just like moving lines of like, wave files back and forth.
I wish I could play something. That's all it'll ever be. That's all it'll ever be if you look at it like that. But if you look at it as creation and love for what you do, listen
nice.
to me.
You're a nice person, Kevin. You don't deserve the life you have right now. You're such a nice guy. I'm just kidding.
What the hell does that mean?
Your tortured existence.
And now, let's hear some rants from our pants.
So, you ready for your rants in your pants?
I have to go first? Do I have to go first every time?
Yeah, you do. Ladies and gentlemen, Bryan, my buddy, he has some ants that are rants in his pants.
These are like minor rants. They're not even rants so much.
Don't polish them. Make them jagged. Go for it.
Well, when I think rants, I think like Dennis Leary. Like I got that cigarette. I'm wearing like a trench coat. I'm just like complaining about stuff. But you know what? Like what really grinds my gears is when people walk their dogs without a leash. I am like an avid dog walker. That's like my thing. I got a dog and she has a lot of energy. I got to take her out once in the morning and then once again in the evening, or she gets all agitated. So I'm out there a lot.
Love doggies.
It drives me bananas when people take their dogs out without a leash. And it's for so many different reasons, and not even because it's a city ordinance that you have to have a leash on your dog.
Absolutely.
It's unsafe. And people think that they have their dog and that they know their dog and that their dog is so smart. And I do believe they know their dog, and I do believe they know that their dog is smart. But you don't know how a dog's going to react in a situation. Like a dog could hear, like an explosion, like a backfire, and they could take off, or they could see another animal and they could run toward it. And I find that like I care about my dog, so I want to keep her, on the leash so that if something happens, I can save her. And it's so weird to me that other people don't, feel the same way. It makes me feel like they're more interested in. It's almost like showing off, like they're showing off how well controlled they think their dog is. I've trained
my dog to be perfect.
Yeah, I've trained my dog to be perfect. And I think there's no such thing as perfect. It's better to be safe.
Especially with animals.
Yeah.
I must interject on two things. Number one, you mentioned a loud sound and the dog runs off. That's how I lost my first dog, which was the most smartest dog I think I've ever known. Her name was Onyx. She was a lab. She was stories of greatness. She used to help an older dog up the steps by putting her shoulder underneath that dog to get the dog to go upstairs. That's cool. At night. Yeah, she's just a brilliant dog. She would protect me when I was a kid, like a little baby. And when I was 7 years old, there was a loud sound at the lake during a July 4th party, and she ran in the street and got hit because she freaked out at the sound. Number two is in this neighborhood, there's a beautiful dog that walks around. I won't name names because they might be listening, but my neighbor was she was jogging and walking in the neighborhood, and the dog came up and bit her right in the side of the face.
It can happen.
No reason whatsoever. The dog is a beautiful dog, a sweet dog, but for some reason didn't like her running, so it ran up to her and right in the face. Bow.
As much as we love our dogs, and as much as we believe they're intelligent, you have to remember they are just animals. And I love my dog, and I know that she's super smart, but she's an animal, and they're not capable of understanding like what's going on completely around them, cars and noise and all these things. They're just not. They're, as much as we love them, they don't have the understanding that we do, and it's up to us to protect them.
Be responsible with your animals.
As much as they protect us when the time is needed, necessary.
The dog is constantly looking to you for what's going on. And if you're too busy with your iPhone or you're too busy talking to somebody else, the dog is going to be like, well, I'm on my own here. Should I get that guy? Yeah. And they'll go chasing after. And then you're like yelling at him, yelling at either. And the dog doesn't know why. And it's
when I see people without the leash, just really gets my goat. I like dogs. I love dogs, I guess, and I don't want to see a situation where somebody's dog might get hurt. I want to go, you obviously love your dog. You obviously trained your dog to walk next to you. Why don't you just go the extra mile and go to the Dollar Tree and get a leash?
Exactly. I agree. That is a perfect rant. Have you ever confronted anybody about that situation? I
have, and unfortunately, the times that it has happened, it's been like an angry situation. Like, for example, there's this lady who walks, she walks her dogs without a leash, and her dog, gave my dog the bum rush. I had to pick my dog up into my arms, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, why do you have this wild beast, at your side with this uncontrollably running around? And it's I think it's the kind of thing where if you do approach somebody and try to explain your situation, I think it's the kind of thing where people are set in their ways and they're not gonna hear it.
No, they're just gonna fight with you. That's when you pick up the dog. You pick up the dog and throw it in your car and drive away. Because they don't deserve that dog if they're going to fight with you.
I took that to mean you just take your dog, jump in your car.
You take their dog.
You take their dog.
Yeah.
If that were the case, I would have so many dogs.
That would be awesome. And people at your window tapping, can I have Fluffy back?
What's the most amount of dogs you've ever had at once? Owned at once?
Just one.
We have two. We've only, at points, we've had three. We had two new, and then an aged dog, but never... more than that.
I've always wanted a couple dogs. I thought that would be great to come home after a bad day, just lay down, and they're like, "Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you." I would love that. That would. It
can work or it can not work. Like the two dogs we have now, they get along great. They always they sleep piled up together. But we had two dogs before that did not get along, and they would they were always at each other's throats. You had to keep them separate. They were both just different. One dog's like, "I'm the dog," and the other one's like, "No, I'm the dog," and
almost like a racist rant on each other.
It's like, I hate you. You're a black lab. It's like, oh, I hate you, you golden lab. It's that kind of thing.
Oh. Well,
you think there's racism in the dog world? You think dogs see other dogs?
You get a German Shepherd and an Irish Setter together.
You think I am a pureblood, and you're a mixed breed.
Yeah.
I shan't play with you at the dog park. I wonder. I wouldn't be surprised, but I would imagine if that was the situation, it probably comes from the owners, man. That's
definitely.
That's learned behavior. Because if you let dogs out there just by themselves, they'll all get along. But
isn't that
if you got
weird?
A dog, weird.
We should learn something from the dog world.
Mm-hmm. We probably could.
My rant. You ready for this?
Maybe.
I love the fact that you force your kid to stand out front with a sign that says, "First day of school." And you take a picture of it. And you put it on Facebook. That's okay.
Is that something people do?
My granddaughter Jocelyn had a board that says "First day of first grade."
Yes.
Cute, adorable, one picture. Fine. My buddy Dietmar from Virginia.
Who?
Dietmar. He's one of my friends I grew up with. His
name.
It is really cool. I love that name. He has a sign on the youngest going to kindergarten, I think it was.
Yes.
And the youngest was going to second grade, excuse me, and the oldest going to 8th grade. Fine.
Yeah, I saw that.
Fine. Yeah, that's my buddy Dietmar. I love him to death. And I told them, I said, please stop growing. You're making me feel old, because they're growing like...
Is that what makes you feel old?
Yeah, seeing how much time has gone by with the young ones.
Not just being old, that doesn't do it for you?
No. I feel like I'm just as old as I was 10 years ago.
Isn't that weird? Don't you look at your parents differently now when you see yourself and you go, I feel just like I did when I was 20?
Yeah. And then you see your mom and she's got his gray hair and can't walk and the tubes and everything. It just bothers me.
Tubes.
And then so my rant is
Tube
this.
Tunes. Shout out to Tube Tunes.
Hey, tubetunes.net. Mm-hmm. For all your listening needs. Love that show. But
I wonder who has tubetunes.com.
I haven't told you my rant yet.
No, I'm listening.
Inquisitor.
This is gold.
This is gold. Here we go. Here's the rant.
Somebody's just sitting on it. No one owns it. Somebody owns it.
20 plus pictures of this family that I just wandered across. You ever just go on Facebook and you click on people because they're good looking or something stupid and you end up in some weird... Okay, well then it's just me. You end up somewhere.
Superficial.
Look.
Talk about pretentious.
And you end up with some family that you don't know and you're stalking them. And aside from all that, you get 200 pictures of this family. I don't know if
you should be saying this on the air.
It's weird, isn't it?
This doesn't sound good for you.
Let me finish, though. No, seriously, the pictures, there's like a collection of pictures from one of my family members who decided to put up like 10 to 15 pictures of them getting ready for school, going down to the school bus, getting on the school bus and looking at the person taking the picture, the school bus closing, them sitting on the school bus, and the school bus driving away. Now, who are those?
Are you sure it wasn't a video?
No, it was not a video. I swear it wasn't. Here's my rant. Who are those pictures for?
You, obviously. They've connected with you in a way. You're talking about it like to the millions and millions of listeners out there right now. It's obviously it's in your heart.
But no, the reason I don't like those pictures is because this poor kid, especially the older kid who gets on the bus, you know his butt's going to be kicked later on going, Mommy followed you all the way to the school bus and took your pictures.
I don't know. That might be old style thinking because I would imagine
I'm an old style guy.
Not the only one getting the pictures taken. They probably pick on the kid who doesn't get his picture taken. Your parent doesn't helicopter around you. Smack, smack, smack.
Helicopter around you, exactly. It just didn't make any sense to me, and I don't. And it's more for the person taking the picture instead of the poor children. As a memory keepsake, you take one picture for a memory keepsake. That's fine. Taking hundreds of pictures and putting in this whole album of them getting on a bus and going to school, and it's not even their first day of school. It's actually their first day of school this year. So next year comes another set of pictures where the kid's tormented. Mom, your hair's not right. Let me fix your eyebrows. And then, put him on the bus. And I don't know what that meant.
I do not know what that was about.
Socks are too tight. From the Van Halen video, back to Hot for Teacher.
Compression socks. That's what you're trying to say, right?
Compression socks on a little kid is just not... That's my rant. Don't buy compression socks for your kid when you're taking pictures of them for their first day of school.
No? Do you wear compression socks?
I actually have.
Are they comfortable?
They actually made my feet feel much better. Yeah.
Than before?
Yeah, and it feels like you're being all snuggled.
Do you have feet issues?
I had plantar fasciitis until I had a cortisone shot, which took it away.
I think you mentioned that before, which is weird, but
it hurts.
I can appreciate it.
Yeah, it hurts.
Kevin, you're a real forthcoming guy.
I am.
You're just out there, man. You're just hanging out there in the wind. I don't even let people know my name, but you're just like talking about your corns. As far as people know, I don't even have feet.
And to top it off, I'm late for work. Can I show you what I do when I do my funky sidewalk?
What?
You don't know what that is? As much rap as you listen to? I'll do the entire sentence.
You don't have to. I'm just kidding. I would love you to.
My corns hurt. To top it off, I'm late for work. Let me show you what I do when I do.
Oh, that's double Dutch butt.
Yes!
Yeah. Frankie Smith.
Apropos, baby, for the rants in my pants.
10 years ago, I tried to find this guy. I was incredibly obsessed with this song, and I don't know. I mean, it's a great song, but I was obsessed with this song, and I tried to find the guy.
Shizu.
I wanted to interview him, and I found out he was working at this. He was driving delivery for this printing company in Philadelphia, and I called there. I called and asked to talk to him. I speak to him, to Frankie Smith, and they're just they shut me down. They're
oh my gosh,
no, and I was like. That's weird. Maybe he doesn't want to talk about his, he's sick of talking about it, but I don't know.
He is responsible, not.
They shut me down. I gave up my quest.
I understand, but he is responsible, not Snoop Dogg, for all the shizzle and my nizzles and bizzles and kizzles.
You think so?
Yep, because in that song, shizzo, shizu, I
might have to disagree with you on this. I mean, of course he did do it in the song.
Yeah.
But Snoop is the one that people heard doing it. You know what I mean? It's like that's the one he took it from somebody else, but they're taking it from him. So it just depends how you look at it.
There's a lot of non-giving and taking in the world of rap.
Yeah. Rap is a sampling sport.
Yeah, it is, really.
I think at its highest level, rap is a sampling sport. I think that nowadays, you get more of the producers like playing instruments or, producing people playing instruments. And that's cool. That's all good. But I really prefer like the sample-based style of rap. I think that's kind of how, that's how the art was originated. And I don't know, it needs to be retained more than it is. And I understand a lot of it's for legal reasons. It's hard to get a hold of a sample, but yeah, that's where the art lies. To me, that's where the art lies. It's definitely the art of ripping off style of art.
It's the art of ripping off and figuring out what the beats permitted is, and then putting you record your own beats and put it to it.
Listen to you.
Hey, we got a new segment. Which Brian?
It would have been cool if you told me this before you decided to just like plunge into it.
But we are going to plunge into it.
Because you might not realize this, but I spend a lot of time getting ready for this. I get Gino Vega to come over, and we do the whole show.
Really?
Like, we did it this morning. We did it last night, and then we did it again this morning, the whole entire show.
Please plug Gino Vega, by the way.
Everything that I have said, I actually said yesterday. I'm reading a transcript.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Plug Gino Vega, by the way, I say.
Well, we got the Mr. Sensational Gino Vega podcast that's available on the IC Robots radio network at icrobots.com. He's another Santa Rosa chap like me, and his show digs into like his past growing up in Bennett Valley, his past playing with the Invalids, the world famous pop punk group, the Invalids.
Cool.
He's got a lot of tales, a lot of worthy tales. As I understand it, his next episode is going to be about Saturday morning cartoons. I don't know what shows he watched. So I'm looking forward to this. I hope he's working on it now.
I was strictly Bugs Bunny. I did Bugs Bunny and Scooby, and then I got up, and during all that, I would eat like 10 Oreos and drink a gallon of juice.
A gallon?
Almost.
Do you like the sugars? Are you like a sugar guy?
I have the sugars. No, I don't have the sugars. Actually, yeah, I am. Oreos and orange juice are my favorite.
I've been trying to drop like 10 pounds. No, I don't. It's not like the biggest deal in the world. But I've been trying to cut sugar out of my diet. I've been like sugar free for over a week now.
Congratulations!
Oh my gosh, it's killing me. I like the sugar. I like like candies, like lemon heads. I like lemon drops. Like that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. And anything in a box that makes clickety noises.
Yeah, I love like hard candies, and I'm trying to cut like all the sugars, and I'm batting 1,000, but man, it's an emotional drain.
I understand. I am not that. I am addicted to things like Reese's peanut butter cups.
I love peanut butter cups.
Reese's sticks. The Reese's sticks, which is like a Kit Kat.
Have you heard my episode, the top 5 candy bars of all the time? That was
and your number one. Not Snickers.
It was
Milky.
Snickers.
Was it? I thought it was Milky Way because that was my number one. That's why.
No. Have you got through the colors yet? Top 5 colors?
Halfway there.
What color are you on?
I didn't even hear the colors yet. I still am stuck at the IC Robots. I ended up listening to something else last night. No offense.
I'm a little offended, but...
Don't mention the colors, though. Don't ruin the show for me.
You're the worst.
Here's the worst. Right here.
Have you ever actually played an episode of the Toys R Us Report all the way through?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
What?
Tell me one thing that's ever happened. Like anything. Any one thing that's ever happened on the show. Just anything. You can't.
I did the summer movie thing.
You did do the summer movie thing, and people thought that was all right. But
what do you think, Jerry? You see him going.
Cats are so gross. Like you're letting him put his hands on your face.
You don't like cats?
I don't.
You don't like cats? Say hi. Say hi. Good boy. All right.
That was pretty good. You got to keep that meow in there.
I think I will.
That was like a real one. You could save that. That's a good meow.
Yeah, I have heard it all the way through.
I haven't.
Most of the time at the end, you're... the last couple I've listened to all the way to the end, there's like a ship thing going on where you have to get the ship straightened out.
There's a lot of ship stuff going on.
Yeah, and...
I don't know how people feel about the ship stuff.
I like it, but
I like it myself.
Well,
if I had the time, I would do all ship stuff.
The problem is number one, my memory sucks, and number two, the show, when I'm listening to any show, really, I'm also in the middle of delivering, and I'm not one to pause too many times. I'll get up and go deliver and come back and then take off again, so I miss a lot of lumps.
You deliver?
Yeah. I'm a pharmacy delivery boy.
You ever take any for yourself?
Not yet.
Grab a few.
There are nights.
What are they called? Oxycontins? Cottons? Is it cotton or contins?
Cotton, like you pick it.
Is it that what it is?
Oxycontin. Oxycodone. Excuse me. No.
Oxycodone
is different. Oxycontin.
Is Vicodin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that can make you... My dad was on that right before he passed away.
Love Vicodins.
Oh, I wish I had some right now.
Like, every time I get prescribed, I'm like, ooh, this is cool, but they don't. They don't prescribe enough. You know what it is? It's like sometimes, like, I haven't gone to the doctor in years, but if you ever go in there and you're like, I need this, you're not getting it. So it's like you gotta... I don't know.
Can I have it, please? Why do you need it?
You're like, my back really hurts. Can I get a Vicodin? You will not. You know?
And then can I have something for depression because you won't give it to me?
Yeah.
So what have you... We're going to do the section. What have we done?
And now it's time for What Have You Done?
Are we going back into the show now?
Yeah.
Are we back in?
Oh, yeah. I didn't stop recording.
You got to cut out all that stuff about how I'm addicted to Vicodins.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that anyway. That's right.
Keep it in. I don't care.
Don't worry. I'll make a good show out of it.
Do you? You should let me do one.
Well, you don't have all the stuff to make it.
You don't put any, like...
I put in the music for Rancid. You haven't listened.
No, I haven't.
Rants in your pants and the sidebar things and then the between our stories and then the background.
I hate the way my voice sounds on this show.
The background. Why does you hate your voice? Why?
Because, like, the Toys R Us report voice, like, I can do that voice. This is just like my real voice, so it's like it sounds weird to me.
It's perfect.
You know what it sounds like when I listen to it?
What?
It sounds like my brother. Because, like, when I do my show, I do a voice. I do a radio voice. It's my voice. But this show's like my voice, just my voice. And my voice and my brother's voice are really similar. So when I listen to it, it's like, it sounds like him. It's weird. It's weird.
It is weird. My brother's voice is nothing like mine.
Ours are really similar.
His is all the way up here. He talks all the way up here. Well, this is called...
Our production styles are different, which I think is...
Yeah. This is called What Have We Done? And what this is a segment where we ask each other questions to see, what is the coolest thing we've ever done in a
You might not be able to tell,
topic.
folks, but we came up with this segment literally 45 seconds ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
This is how good we are. We come up with things on the fly.
The thing is, we forget the segments of the show every time. It's like each time it's a new discovery.
Show. Exactly. Brand new show. So you go first. What is your question?
Kevin.
Yay, buddy.
I have a question.
Hey.
This is what I was thinking about the other day because, the last episode we talked about how I met Robert Forster at that movie thing. And I was thinking, out of all the people that you've shaken hands with in your life, all the people you've met in your long and illustrious life, who's the most famous person you've ever shaken hands with?
The devil.
Seriously.
Oh.
You ruined it. I went into that so hard, and you just ruined it.
Let me think.
You're ruining it more now. Just keep going. Kevin, keep going.
Hey, there's edits, man.
We're not editing this. Just go, Kevin.
I think in my life... Who's
the most famous person you've ever shaken hands with?
I'll have to say it would be Steve Vai, the guitarist.
Who is that?
Oh, Steve Vai is famous for playing in Whitesnake for a short stint.
He's the dude with the cowboy hat who's married to Heather Locklear.
He is not. He is the one that was really, really big with his Passion and Warfare album.
I don't know what that is.
He played in the movie Crossroads with Ralph Macchio. He was the guy at the end there who played incredible guitar, and he was supposed to beat him.
Steve with a PH?
Not at all. No. Stevevai.
Is he related to Joe Satriani?
He actually was taught by Joe Satriani, but ended up playing a million times better.
What is the name of that other guitar virtuoso whose name is like super hard to pronounce?
John Petrucci?
No, like it's like Y-N.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yes. How do you say that again?
Yngwie. It's almost
that
like
guy's deal.
He actually is from another land.
What land is that? Westeros?
He's Swedish, from Swedenland.
Why doesn't he have any like vowels in his name?
Because they couldn't afford them.
That's super weird. You would think that. Is that what if that's a common name in Sweden?
Could be.
I'm looking at him right now. He is actually 6'3", and his wife is named April. April Malmsteen.
But Steve Vai, I got to stand on stage with him because my friend bought me tickets to this concert,
yes,
and I stood there, and I was the guitarist that was with him, Mike Keneally, who's another incredible musician, was watching me do these riffs while he was playing the riffs, and even though I'm air guitaring in the audience, I must have impressed him because he went over to Steve Vai and they point at me. And Steve Vai points at me and then gives me the come here finger. You know the come here finger?
I do. I can see you doing it right now.
Yeah, come here. And I was like, me? And the person who bought the tickets, my buddy Anthony, he pushes me up by my buttocks onto the stage.
When was this?
This was actually Thanksgiving Day, 2001?
2001.
I think it was 2001. Thanksgiving Day. I'll never forget that because the drum solo was played with drumsticks from a turkey. It was pretty cool.
Do you know that was actually on a Thursday?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, actually.
What?
Process of elimination, because you had 7 chances to get that right. The cool part was that he did some freaky stuff. I did some freaky stuff. I pantomimed what he was doing. And then I just woke up back in the audience again because I was in dreamland. But I remember shaking his hand and thinking, this man who is shaking my hand, his fingers are wrapping around my hand like 10 times. It was like, he had massive hands. But he wasn't that tall.
Yngwie Malmsteen?
No, it was Steve Vai. And it was amazing. And I got a pic from him when I shook his hand. He gave me his pic. And I have that in a frame up here with the ticket and a picture of Steve Vai.
Do you know what else happened that day? Josh Groban released his debut album, which is titled Josh Groban, as well as the 53rd annual NASCAR Sprint Cup, which was won by Jeff Gordon. And there was also a convention on cybercrime in Budapest, Hungary. All the same day. The same day that you got your buttocks touched by one of your friends.
It's such a cool thing because Steve Vai and I were talking about the Budapest thing. That's pretty cool.
It's weird that he wasn't there. That he actually fulfilled his concert instead of, because as I understand it, dude's one of the top cybercrime analysts out there, right?
Well said.
I mean, I'm looking at his Wikipedia right now. It says besides wearing a cowboy hat and being married to Heather Locklear,
that's not
Yngwie Malmsteen is the #1 cybercrime analysist.
Analysist.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
He doesn't do the analysis himself. That's what you call an analyst's assistant, an analyst assistant.
So I think you just spit on me, and you're not even here.
I'm not even. I don't do that.
Oh, I have a question for you. For what have we done?
Mm-hmm.
What is the furthest you've ever gone from your home?
In my life?
In your life.
In my life. Let's think about this for a second. I have only left the country twice, and both times
you were asked to. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, hold on.
Sorry.
Hold on.
You okay? Sorry about that. Was it
That's a good question. You stepped all over me.
Before you start.
That's what they should call this show, the He Stepped All Over Me podcast with Kevin Zerb.
Do you know how to say my name right?
Zerb.
Zerby.
But you always say Zerb.
Well, they call me Zerb for short.
What?
Yeah.
I think Zerb and Zerby are the same length. That's like, yeah, my name's Kevin. They call me Kevin for short.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You really should just keep all this in.
I will. I promise.
I would just run all the way through. I don't even. So, Kevin, well, hold on. Let me get a good start.
Okay.
That's an interesting question. Where is the furthest? Well, I mean, obviously, the answer is, Jupiter's third largest moon, Callisto. I'm there every week for the Toys R Us report. But if you mean like here on Earth, here on this planet, I have once, many moons ago, journeyed far and wide to Mexico City. My wife she has family there, so we were there for a few weeks. This was many years ago. They went again last year without me, which was kind of a bummer. But someone had to watch the dogs, and that's probably it. I don't know how many miles that is. Let's take a look. Let's get here, and we will see distance.
Go for it. You do that typing, and let me say one thing. Listen to while I'm typing. After while we're doing this, you have to answer the question about the most famous person you ever shook hands with, and then I will tell you how far I've gone.
It is. Are you ready? I did some typing. I did some calculating. I got out my map. I got out a ruler. I figured it's like it's 37 hours from where we are. I think that's by foot, and it's a total of 2,252 miles. That's pretty far. It's pretty far to me.
Did you drive or bike?
Both.
Wow.
There, you get to you drive as far as you can, then you got to abandon your car and bike the rest of the distance. You can only drive like 5 miles. It's pretty long.
That's terrible.
It's rough going. You got to go through. You got to go through cartel land. There's desert. It seriously took like a month.
Any Taco Bells in Mexico?
That's a good question. I don't recall seeing any. There's a lot of McDonald's.
Yeah.
Is
that McDonald's or
no? Just McDonald's.
Okay.
This is a little funny. The whole time we were there, we stayed with her aunt and uncle,
right? And
she had a cousin that would take us around Mexico City, and she kept saying to me, "Do you want to go to Starbucks? Do you want to go to Starbucks?" And I'm just like thinking that this was like a chain of bookstores called like Starbucks. And then finally, the last day, we're in the airport and we're leaving, and she goes, "Do you want to go to Starbucks?" And I go, "What?" And she points over to Starbucks.
Of course.
And I'm like, oh, I'm just like, that's it. I didn't put two and two together. I don't know why I didn't think that they would have. I just lost momentum on that one, but
I appreciate it.
I would cut out the whole Starbucks.
I think I will.
The whole thing is stupid.
No. Just delete the show.
The whole show is stupid.
Tomorrow.
Another good name for a show. This whole show is stupid.
Let me ask you this. Who is the most famous person you've ever shaken hands with?
In my life.
No.
Like ever.
Yeah.
That's tough. There have been a couple pretty famous people. I've shaken hands with Charles Schultz.
Whoa.
He's a Santa Rosa native.
That has got to win because I am a huge fan of Charles Schultz.
Well, I got another one.
Okay.
That's good. I shook hands with Muhammad Ali.
Ooh, before the fight?
So, what was that?
Before the fight?
This was many moons after his fighting career was over.
Oh, it was, then you would have won.
It was in San Francisco. We saw him, and I'm just like, oh my God, you're Muhammad Ali. What's up, champ? And
did you punch him?
I did not. Why would I do that? He's like 75 years old at the time. Kevin, that might be...
You would have won.
Behavior might fly in Connecticut, but it just doesn't fly here in California. We don't...
I'm just saying
you
could have won. And then how would that...
Honestly, I don't even know if I could.
To know that you beat Muhammad Ali.
When you see him in person, he's a lot bigger than you imagine. Like, he's a pretty tall-looking dude. Pretty tall, lanky-looking dude. He threw a couple jabs at me. I was able to evade one. The second one caught me flush. And it hurt. hurt.
So that's
but it was
cool
more,
to shake his
like
hand.
A slapping hurt than like a thudding hurt. So no, I was all right.
Did you overact when he hit you so you could make him feel better? Did he giggle when you fell on the floor or something?
I fell onto the floor and I kind of thrashed around a bit. You know, you
just to make him feel better. Yeah. Who else did you shake hands with? So far, Charles Schultz is winning.
Charles Schultz, Muhammad Ali. I shook hands with Steve Garvey. You know, Steve Garvey, the baseball player. He played for
Yeah.
I shook hands with him. I have shaken hands with. Let me think about this.
Sure.
We go to a lot of like conventions, like comic conventions. For a while, we were going to comic conventions like all the time, and there's all these weird goofball celebrities there. I've shaken hands with Neil Adams, the comic book artist. I've shaken hands with R. Crumb.
Oh yeah,
the comic book artist R. Crumb. That was a good one. I've shaken hands with Gino Vega, which is something. I have shaken hands with Michael Dorn from Star Trek. He was Worf on Star Trek. I'm trying to think who else have I actually
recently.
I shook hands with. No, Michael Dorn's still around. I saw him on TV the other week. I saw it was a rerun, but I'm assuming he's still with us. Okay. I shook hands with Don Fry, the UFC fighter, MMA superstar Don Fry.
Nah, it doesn't count.
Shook hands with Michael Bell. He was the voice of Duke on G.I. Joe. All kinds of people.
So far, Charles Schultz is the winner.
I don't know. I think Muhammad Ali. But I think that's
Muhammad Ali's a good...
This is why I give him the nod in this.
Okay.
If you took the two and you put them side by side, people are going to visibly recognize Muhammad Ali a lot more.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Schultz was, he's like an unassuming guy. He's not the biggest guy, white hair, glasses. He had like a red sweater. He is a Santa Rosa native, and when he was around, you would see him, not all the time, but you would see him from time to time. And his wife is with him all the time, and he's like a private dude. He doesn't really, he didn't want to be messed around with so much, like in his hometown. And when you would see him, like his wife was always running interference. Like tourists would always be trying to get up in his grill, and his wife was always just like, no. Let Sparky eat his lunch. Let Sparky eat his lunch. Just leave him alone. And I was lucky enough to see him by himself once. This was when I was at the movie theater. When I worked at the movie theater, he used to come in all the time and see stuff. And once I was able to catch him,
that is awesome,
and ruin his anonymity, I guess. In a sense, I regret it at this point because I know that he didn't want dudes stepping to him, and I stepped to him. But what are you going to do, man? You're in the public eye.
My furthest I've ever been.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, where's the furthest you've ever been from your home?
Oh, gosh.
Ever, like in your life?
Well, when I lived in Virginia.
Uh-huh. When I lived in Virginia, I once went to North Carolina.
I actually went further. I went down to Florida, and then all the way out.
Like 20 miles, Kevin.
And all the way out to Nebraska from Virginia, which was a 3-day trip, and then all the way up to Canada. Have you heard of Canada?
You've been to Canada?
Yeah.
I have never been.
Beautiful place. Clean.
You know what?
I need to get everywhere. Tim Hortons.
I need to cut you off. This is important. I need to cut you off. I just did a bit of research.
Yes.
And I have found we've been to Hawaii. We have been to Hawaii twice, and
that's far.
It's about 30 miles farther. So I take everything I said about Mexico City back. I've been to Hawaii. Sorry.
Now, do they have Taco Bell in Hawaii?
Yeah, they do.
Do they have Spam tacos?
They did not, pineapple. As far as I know, but I didn't go in. Oh. Have you been to Hawaii?
Not yet, but my daughter has. She spent a semester of college there.
Really great.
I
wish I was there now.
Awesome pictures. Awesome everything. A lot of NASA stuff over there.
I'm super sorry I interrupted you. Let me take over. Let me just host for a second. Let me just. Kevin, please. When you were in Canada, what did you find was the biggest difference between the land up north and the land down here, the land down under the north?
Kilometers versus miles. The switchover on speed limits, the side of the road you're supposed to drive on, freaks me out.
It's the opposite in Canada? I wasn't sure about that.
There was areas where it seemed to be opposite and other areas where it wasn't, and it was hard to tell because it It's almost London-esque when I was there. I don't know.
How long ago was this?
This was in the 90s. In the 90s, I went up with a hockey team.
Oh, were you yourself a hockey player?
I was not. I was. I worked at the U.S. Botanic Gardens in D.C. The guy who gave me my name, Zerbinator, his name was Wally, and he played for a team called the Seals.
A very Rob Schneider-esque person, this Wally, as I understand it.
Yeah, that's right. And he took us up there. Well, me up there, wasn't us.
Yes.
He took his team and asked me, "You want to go to Canada?" I said, "I'd love to go to Canada." She took me up there. I got to experience it. I purchased a Capitals jersey. Back then, the Capitals were actually a worthwhile team. No offense.
Right. Back in the day.
And I got a jersey for $3 because I bought it
because it was a Capitals jersey.
It was a Capitals. And in the Maple Leaf Stadium.
Really?
The Maple Leaf Stadium is where they played, and we got to go around. I went up in the CN Tower, and the CN Tower has no floor but glass. When you get to the top.
Like?
That scared the crap out of me. I wasn't told that that's what was up there. Nobody told me. I got off the elevator, I started walking, and they're like, Kevin. And I'm like, what? And I look over, and I notice that there's light emulating from underneath us. And I look down, and I almost pooped my pants.
Almost.
Because I could
see.
You
just said that you did a second ago. So
almost.
Which is Kevin.
And that was it. But it was nice. The money exchange was, we were richer than they were. Which
Kevin,
what?
Let me ask you this.
Please.
Do they have Taco Bells in Canada?
They do. But do you know what they call them?
They call them La Taco Bell.
No.
I know this for a fact.
No.
They'll
call them...
you don't have an answer.
They call them, hey, Taco Bell, eh?
How far into Canada did you go, Kevin?
Toronto, Mississauga, and one more city I can't remember.
How long were you there for?
Ottawa. We were there for about a week.
What was the weather like?
Very cold and wet.
What time of year was it?
It would have been mid-November-ish.
So it was probably fairly cold.
Yeah.
Do you or have you ever watched the famed Canadian teen drama Degrassi Junior High?
Never.
Never once? Are you familiar?
No, I don't think I would want to watch it because I don't trust Canada. They're too close.
That's weird, Kevin.
It's like America's hat, and they know something about us.
It's totally racist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, when you were in Canada, besides the kilometers, what were some other dissimilar notions between the two places? What about food?
Food was much better. I almost had a panic attack eating a lobster. It's a lot like living in Maine, I would think, because going up through these northern New England states, I've noticed the similarities. And there's a lot of fish, good fish. There's a lot of meat and potatoes kind of areas, and it's that.
Do you get a lot of good seafood in Connecticut?
Oh, yeah.
Like lobsters and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, I have a question.
Sure.
This is actually a question that should be directed to Ferg, but I don't have Ferg's ear at the moment. So I'm going to ask you.
He has to come on this show.
What the heck is, he's always talking about him. Like, it's a crab roll?
Lobster roll.
What the heck is that?
All right, lobster roll is when you take lobster and you roll it and then put it in bread. So lobster rolls are lobsters that are rolled up in a bread thing and then shoved into a hot dog bun. And it's overly buttered. It's delicious. And it just makes you drool. McDonald's actually had them for a while for $7.99.
Hold on. It's lobster, like breaded lobster, like a breaded lobster hot dog?
Yeah.
Hold on. I need to see a picture of this.
Sure. It's delicious. I love them.
Lobster roll. Yeah, that seems like what it is. It's like a lobster hot dog. And what brand is the brand that he prefers? Isn't that the deal? There's I like Morton's or whatever. I don't.
Oh,
I'm sorry for
no. This is pork roll. You're talking about pork roll.
Is that what I'm talking about?
Yeah, pork roll is Taylor. Taylor versus.
Don't tell me what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
You ever eat?
No.
What's it called? Scrapple? Do you ever eat that?
Never. Ugh. That's goop. That's like intestinal crap.
I thought it was the same thing.
Not at all.
Pork roll is a pork-based processed meat originating and commonly available in New Jersey, New York, Delaware, and parts of Pennsylvania and Maryland. It was developed in 1856 by John Taylor and sold as Taylor ham.
And they fight over case pork roll they being Mark David Little and Ferg, jokingly.
Is that the guy who shot John Lennon?
Yeah, Mark David Little. They.
I thought that was funnier than. I'm sorry.
I giggled. That was good.
Should have hooted. Had some hoots in there. That's what I expected, but you gave me more of a.
They jokingly fight over that case pork roll.
Is it like lunch meat? Like you slice it up?
I would think that it's a roll of pork. I would love to grill one. It sounds like something awesome.
I'm looking at pictures right here. It's a Taylor pork roll. You know what? There's more pork roll talk on your pantheon of shows than you would ever dream.
Because it's a code. It's code for something.
I don't even want to know. I think I have an idea. You guys are fairly close. I can understand when you talk about pork rolls what you mean, but you don't have to go in that direction on this show. This isn't that podcast. This isn't the pork roll podcast. Or maybe it is. It's becoming.
Gross.
Can you Skype Ferg in right now? Is he available?
No way. He's sound asleep.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. Hello, Ferg?
He'd be like, what the hell you want?
What is your favorite brand of pork roll, Ferg? And why?
I wish I could call him, but no, he won't be up until about...
I thought you would do a Ferg imitation. I threw it to you, and you just
Oh, I'll do that.
Okay.
Here we go.
Sorry, the moment's gone.
No, I'll do it right here. We'll edit
moment's
right
gone.
in.
I lost it.
Ferg impression. Taylor.
What?
Terrible impersonation. Here's my Ferg impersonation. I'll give it to you. It's... I think a Taylor would be good. Maybe a Taylor. I like Taylor, and it's because it's good. And I don't know. Is it good? I think it's good. I don't know.
Let me ask you, bud. This is me, Doug McCoy. What's the difference between a Taylor pork roll and the other variety of pork roll, bud? This is all in good fun. Don't get upset.
No,
it's not funny.
All right. Let's go ahead and wrap this puppy up. I think we can put a cap on this. I think we can go ahead and screw the lid back on.
I'm on eBay for a second. I collect comics.
Yeah.
And I put in an offer. This guy had this comic I want, and he wanted $9.99. I shot him an offer of $5.75 because altogether with shipping that would be $10.
Yeah.
Right. And he counter offered at $7.65. Should I say sure or nay? What do you think?
Counter offer with
$6.45.
$6.50.
It's kind of fun to nickel and dime dudes over just 50 cents. Hold on. I need the best deal I can get. How about, what did you say, $6.50?
Yep.
It's a good comic. It's the first appearance of Misty Knight. Hey, Kevin.
Yo.
I dig doing this with you. It's fine. It's fine. It doesn't bother me. It's okay. I got some time. But dude, I got to get going. Can we just
Oh, sure.
I don't necessarily have anything to do. I just want to get to doing it. You know what I'm saying? What I mean to say.
You want to.
What I'm trying to say. I don't want to do this anymore.
You're waiting to wait.
I got to hurry up and get to doing nothing.
Gotcha. Well, I always tell Shelly I have to get to bed because I got to get up tomorrow.
Who is that?
My wife. What is your wife's name by chance?
I can't say.
Mrs.
She doesn't.
Roboticist.
She's a good person.
Make up a name.
I can't drag her through the mud. I can't drag her through this.
I understand. Well, let's just call her Evelyn from now on.
Not.
Is that her name?
Let's just look. Keep my wife's name out of your mouth, Kevin. Let's just leave it at that.
Gross.
All right?
Okay.
This is you're treading on some thin ice right now.
Oh.
I'm one of those guys. I don't even. So talk about my family, Kevin.
Well, my wife, I always tell her, honey, I got to get to bed because I got to get up tomorrow.
She's a real person? I kind of thought that this was kind of, part of the...
Wait a minute. I'm not allowed to talk about your family, and all of a sudden you start making fun of my wife.
No, I thought it was like the Kevin Zerba-verse, where you're just you have all these characters that you interact with on your show. But this is real life stuff.
Am I a Zerbivore?
No, but this is real stuff. You really...
She's real. It's all sleight of hand. That's what it is.
I wasn't sure. It's a lot of people say a lot of different things on a lot of different shows. You don't know what's work, what's real. It's just, I don't know.
It's the magical land of podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? You know what I got to end the show with?
What?
Join us next time when Bryan says.
Do you play songs when this is over? Is this one of these? I've never heard one. But
no, I cut out on the pretentious because this is really
Why?
Too much. Because the show is already long enough. I didn't want to.
Is it?
Time to, yeah.
From what I hear, people want more.
Do they?
Yes. No, I don't know. They probably want less. Can you keep it down to 10 minutes or less?
Yeah, I can do that. There's the 10-minute podcast.
It's a 10-minute show that takes 3 hours to record.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You leave in all the burps and...
You know what you could do is time stretch it down to 3 minutes. That would be awesome. I wonder what that would sound like.
Couldn't be worse.
So is that your final statement?
That's the final statement.
Join us next time when Bryan says...
Could be worse. Couldn't be worse.
Couldn't be worse.
I forget. I don't know, man. You throw this to me every time, and I don't know what you want from me. Do you want me to make up some kind of see you guys next time, or what? I don't.
You got to be profound. You got to come up with some profound saying.
This isn't a profound podcast.
Every show I do, the other person has to say something that will linger.
I think that we should flip the script, and we're gonna go. And until next time, Kevin Zerbe says,
Frank Sinatra can sing.
I gotta I'm not gonna say he can't sing, but I've never understood the appeal of the dude. I mean, he's a cool looking guy with these cool Rat Pack guys.
Dude, shut up.
But then he gets on the mic and he's just like, dun, 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 dun.
All of Zerbinator's music and podcasts are under the Creative Commons license, which allows retelling and rebroadcasting as long as the author is notified and credited. For more great escape pods, please visit www.zerbinator.wordpress.com. If you would like to contact Zerbinatorland, you can send an email to instrumentally@gmail.com or give us a call at 571-408-ZERB or 9372.